In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear shock on your Mini Cooper. It's located behind the rear wheel. Using a 17mm socket, we're going to remove our wheel. And remove the wheel. We're going to remove this hose and this ABS sensor using a pry bar. We're just going to push it out of the bracket. Just be gentle, you don't damage anything. If you can't get that out, you're going to have to push it past the lip and get it past it so you can get it out. So I'm just going to use a pull jack here. It's not really doing anything. I don't think this is going to go down very far, but just in case, I'm going to leave that there. It's going to be easier to install your new one. So I'm going to use a 22mm socket, and we're going to remove this bottom bolt. And take this out the rest of the way. Set it aside. Now we're going to take out these two bolts. I'm going to start with the harder one, which is towards the front. Remove your bolt and take out the other one as well. Make sure you have a good hand on it. Remove the bolt and support your assembly. Make sure you get your wires out of the way. The wire and your hose. And take it out. So I have a spring and shock assembly in our tool. We're going to compress this spring to remove the shock. But first we're going to loosen up this nut. I'm going to make sure I mark where it sits in the assembly before I remove anything. So I'm going to mark my bracket, and this is just to help me know where I took it off, the spring and where it rests. So now we're marked, we're going to take off this nut. I'm going to use a 17mm socket and try to get this nut off. If it starts to spin, I'll hold it still. So stop now, and you're going to compress your spring using whatever tool you have. These are dangerous, so you want to make sure you have good tools. You want to do this until this is free. Got a little more to go. And I'm going to take this off the remainder of the way. Just make sure you hold on to your shock because it will fall. And remove your shock. So now we're going to prime our shock before putting it in. You're going to remove this piece. And we're going to let that go up. And now we're going to press it down. And let it go up. And you're going to do this several times. I'd say about 3 or 4 is probably good. All right, so that's primed. Now we're going to transfer over a bushing here. Put that on the new one. Now that we've transferred this over, we're going to install. Make sure that on the spring, this piece here, the arrow is pointed in the right direction. There's a little stop right here. So you're just going to make sure that that's where it belongs by turning it, and when it stops, it's right where it needs to be, where the arrow is. I've marked my spring, as I said before, so I know exactly where to put everything. So now I'm going to insert my shock through the spring. It's still compressed. And I'm just going to turn it to where I marked it for myself. So once you have your shock through, you're going to put your first bushing on. Then you're going to put this little hat on. Once again, you're going to line up this with your marks. And now I'm going to put this part on. Make sure your bushing is in there correctly. It should come through that way. Now you're going to place this on top. Again, making sure everything's lined up the way it needs to be. And now we're going to start our nut. And now you can let it go for a second and get yourself ready to tighten down that nut. I'm holding my shock, the rod going through, with some needle nose locking pliers. And I'm going to tighten down my nut and torque it to 22 foot-pounds. We're going to get it close at least, and if it starts to spin, I'm going to put the spring around, but I just want to make sure I have this nut down far enough where it's not dangerous. Just be mindful this doesn't spin too much on you. You want it to line up the same way. So let's just take a look. Pretty close at this point, so I'm going to undo the spring and let it sit back where it belongs. That feels pretty good. And now we're going to tighten it the rest of the way. Make sure that's torqued to 22 foot-pounds. Now you can release this all the way and take out your locking pliers. I'm going to loosen mine are pretty tight. As you release this, make sure you have a hand on the assembly. Now I'm going to take this out and install it on the car. Let's install. We're going to feed our strut through. Make sure that the bracket for your speed sensor and your hose is in the right spot, facing you as you go up. You're going to get it past those wires, that wire and hose, all the way up, and line up the holes. Once you're up there, you're going to get one bolt started just to get it going. I'm going to go for the easy one. Make sure you cleaned off your bolts before doing this. It makes it easier. And now I'm going to go on the other side and start this one. If you can't get your hand in there, you can always use an extension with the socket. And now you can let go, and that should stay still. After you've hand tightened these, make sure you've hand tightened it enough where it's pushed up and it lines up somewhat with the bottom, but you still have some play. Now you can insert your bottom bolt. Now you're going to jack up the bottom part of the shock until you are level with the bolt hole. You may also have to push down on the rear part of the car in order to line it up. And then you're going to get it started. Just make sure that bolt's started before tightening it up. Snug that up. Now we can remove our pull jack, or just let it down a little bit. And we'll tighten up those top two bolts. Now we're going to snug these up. It's a good idea to go back and forth if you feel like it's not going up flush, meaning even. Make sure your pull jack is underneath, and you want everything at right height when you are torquing. So just put it underneath the shock and the trailing arm, and that should be good. And just jack it up a little bit. Right about there is good. Now I'm going to torque these to 22 foot-pounds. Let's torque this one. 103 foot-pounds. Now we can release our pull jack. Let's put our hose in our bracket. I'm just going to slide it through. And then also our speed sensor, slide it right in. You should do the same on the other side. If you're replacing one, you should replace both. That way your ride height is the same. Put your wheel back on and take it for a road test. Let's install our wheel. When you do that, make sure you're all lined up. Keep a good hand on it and get one of these started. And do the rest. Let's tighten these down. We're going to do that in a crisscross manner. And you're going to walk the wheel on. We're going to torque our wheels to 95 foot-pounds. We're going to do that in a crisscross pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.